Hello. I had some ideas. I've been thinking about money recently and whatnot. And so I wanted to share the different the different levels I've come up with for possible ways to make money, right? And so I'm going to start off with the honest ways. Everybody knows these. Right. And this is admirable stuff. It is straight up good, right? You can get a job. That is a foolproof way to make money, right? McDonald's, dead end places, any grocery store, you will make money. You might get a raise or two, but the money you're making will always be coming in. Like that, or that's one way, I suppose. But, right, there's other kinds of jobs, right? You go to school, and therefore you are basically setting yourself up for a career, which is a job but better because almost every time you will make more money as long as you're picking like a demand or an in demand study, right? Like you could get an art degree and you can make money, but you could also go to YouTube, learn how to make art, and then get a job making art. Like you do not need an education for that. Photography, never in any circumstances you should do philosophy or anything to do with people, really, if unless it's like psychology, because then at least you are working with other people, which is a perfect transition into working with people, right? Any trade realistically, because it's not like let me think. I'm thinking labor, right? So you could weld. Someone's gonna buy that. A government is gonna need you to weld a submarine, right? Or mow lawns, build houses. Like people need that stuff forever. I mean, there's so many homeless people. You could be a farmer and then you could feed people, right? Like that is all very doable stuff. And then, that's three ways right there. You get a dead end job. You could get a trade, which again you do not technically need any kind of certification or degree for any of that stuff, or you could get a degree and do something good or make good money, such as engineering or any kind of doctorate, probably. I mean, there's tons of stuff. A teacher, in which then you just have to make sure that you have a spot and like somewhere good. Dang, bro, these people straight up sent me like 100 things in the last minute. I just put it on do not disturb. And then you could invest, which of course requires money to begin with, but you can make money, invest a little, make money, invest a little, like with a weekly or a bi-weekly paycheck. And if you know what you're doing, you can make tons of money, or you can make tons of money. You can make money. Like if you know really well what you're doing, you can make a ton of money in a short amount of time. But if you, over the span of your life, invest a ton of money in like a compound or a bond, you will probably also just end up making a pretty good amount of money. The next thing I have is reselling. That doesn't even require buying, right? You could find free wooden furniture. You've seen the videos, right? You take the furniture, you sand it, restain it, maybe put on some like fancier looking knobs on this dresser and then resell it, right? Could make a bunch of money doing that. Though that is limited, and it should be one of these things like investing where it's on top of a job or anything like that, right? You got to start small. Now I have the second section of the paper here, which is semi-dishonest. The first one requires a service job, right? If there's a tip jar, just take a couple bucks every now and again. $2, $5. Never take that much because you are stealing from other people. But that is straight dishonesty. Where it is semi is justifying it by it being a bad business. So I have a business here local that a lot of people love it, right? But this guy who owns the business, it's a chain, right? He's not a good guy. He hires a certain demographic of people for tax cuts, breaks. And so what someone I knew did is straight up stole from the business. He didn't take tips. All the tips went into the tip pool, right? Just how it was. He's a good guy for that. But what he would do, on the other hand, is steal directly from the owner, right? If they were paying cash, got them a receipt, pocketed the money, split it with his people, right? That is teamwork, which leads me to the next thing, which is working with people, right? This guy, he steals money from the owner by, slight punishment. You're going to do this for this reason instead of to help the people that you are employing to give them this experience. I'm going to take the money, right? This guy, you find another business, and instead of cutting him in on, or with knowing the fact that he gave you this tidbit of information, you can do this, right? Very real thing, right? You cut them out of the strategy and you start taking 100% of the theft for yourself. Make more money that way. Whereas, say person who taught you this splits it with 4 people, you're going to get 4 times the money, which is 100% instead of 25, right? Now, the third and my favorite option through all 3 of my honest, dishonest, and in between category is pairing up with the old people. You shouldn't do it, not at all, right? You should be with someone because you care and you love them and they feel the same. But it is a proven strategy. People do it. It's horrible. It's only bad if it's that apparent, right? Maybe it is an underlying factor. There's a woman I know. I don't know where she got her money, right? I don't know where she got it. She has 300 plus acres, horses. It's a ranch basically, right? She's beautiful, right? Older woman. And she's also very nice. She's very, very nice. I want her. But when the time came, if I was in the inheritance, I would be very happy. It wouldn't be like, dang, I don't even want this, this thing was good because she was there. That is hopefully 80% of this, right? If I spent the rest of her life, should I say, with her, the property is great with her. She knows how to take care of it. She's got the horses. The horses are so nice, Took a picture with one, She told me that I could ride a horse. I've never ridden a horse before. I'm extremely excited. Very nice. She's never been any kind of attitude. Very, very, very nice woman. But then, now, I'm not going to do that because it's too much, I'm not even going to take a stab at this woman because she's older and she has the giant property. I don't want the attention and I don't want the drama. I'm never going to do this, right? But it is a thing that happens. The young, attractive woman pairs with the 70-year-old man. You might know exactly what's going to happen, She's just going to wait it out for a year or 2 and inherit the rest of the money, I'm actually a fan of when this woman is cut out and the kids and the grandkids get the money, right? That is a good thing. But it is my favorite thing. It's a funny thing to have considered at some point in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And the dishonest thing, this is easy, you can lie, you can cheat, you can steal. That's two of the points right there. And the third one is just scamming old people again. These not so tech savvy elders of ours have proven it is somewhat easy to steal. You make these calls. I have it written down. You brainstorm, research, practice, and execute. How has it been done in the past? How am I going to make it different? Let me run through it like a reading and presentation in the mirror before you give it the next day. It's basically just that. You can get in trouble for everything except the honest stuff, though. So I would stick with that. You absolutely do not want to get in trouble. I've talked to a couple felons recently. None of them are happy with the position that they're in. I mean, this young woman I talked to for a couple weeks, just kind of just to do it. She she got her thing, and it wasn't because she did the act, but she was in fact a part of it, and she lied about it to the cops, right? She went to prison, I think just only 3 years or so, but now she's in the in-between for I think 9 months, which is still a very long time. She's, I think, mid-20s, and so she has lost 20% of her life right now, not lost it, she's lived it, she's alive and conscious, but she's not being able to make her own decisions, right? Everything's dictated, she's being watched, and now for so long it's going to be on her record, right? It's just not worth it to get caught. But yeah, no, that's basically it. If there's something you really want to do, right? I'm making these YouTube videos. I've been at it for a couple of years, not consistently, not consistently. I'm not a very good example, but tons of people try it. Tons of people fail. A decent number of people don't. But if you're going to do something like this, be smart about it. Have an income while you do it. I make money outside of this. I'm usually broke, but I don't know what to say. I make the videos after I do the work, though, nonetheless, no matter how it is. Just the right way to do it. But thank you and goodbye.